आगे पढ़े, यही होना चाहिए। बाकी स्कूल वालों को ऐसा नहीं करना चाहिए, पब्लिक स्कूल वालों को, क्योंकि उस बच्चे को ज़्यादा सहानुभूति की ज़रूरत है।
जबरदस्ती उसके साथ रेप हुआ है, कल को टीचरों की लड़कियों के साथ भी तो रेप हो सकता है।
ये गलत है, उनको इस तरह के बच्चे को नहीं निकालना चाहिए।
बच्चे के साथ बलात्कार हुआ है और उसको स्कूल से निकाला जा रहा है, तो ऐसा स्कूल को नहीं करना चाहिए, स्कूल प्रशासन को जो है, क्योंकि बलात्कार में उस बच्चे का कोई दोष नहीं है और किसी के साथ भी ये घटना हो सकती है।
बड़ी बात तो ये है कि देश के अंदर फिर ऐसे ही रेप होते रहेंगे और सरकार भी बैठी रहेगी हाथ पे हाथ रख कर, और टीचर जो है वो अपनी मनमानी करेंगे स्कूलों में।
A very, very shocking incident. We were approached by a rape victim, a gang rape victim, who informed us that the school that she was studying in, they have asked her not to attend classes. They've asked her to stay in her house, and only if she does not attend classes will she be promoted, because the school fears defamation.
You're watching The Urban Debate on Mirror Now. I'm Faye D'Souza. Thank you for joining us. It's a horrific story, unfortunately, that I bring to you this evening. If getting gang raped in a car at the age of 14 is not traumatic enough, the school that this 14-year-old attends in Delhi has now allegedly denied the survivor entry into her own school. When parents sought admission for the class 11 of this school, the school allegedly asked them to either homeschool the student or put her in another school. The parents have now approached the Delhi Commission for Women, or the DCW, which has issued a notice to the Directorate of Education of the state government. The parents say that the student was kidnapped, gang raped in a car and then tossed out onto the street. There is no hope at all here in this school for rehabilitation. It seems like the school is worried about its reputation. It has told students not to sit with this girl. It has told this school girl that she is no longer allowed to use the school bus, and that she should stay at home if she wants to be promoted or receive her results for the next class. This is the world we live in, and I want to remind our viewers, this is a private school within Delhi city limits. This is not in one of our villages. This is not a government school. This is a private school, and we all know how expensive private schools are. We are not on this channel revealing either the name of the school or the neighborhood that this girl is from, because this is a minor rape survivor. But this school, on the other hand, we demand be treated with exemplary legal action. The principal in question should be no less than sacked, and her record should show that this is the kind of behavior that this principal has displayed. Joining me on the show this evening, Vikram Singh, former DGP of Uttar Pradesh, Krishnaswamy, activist in Bangalore, Trisha Shetty, lawyer and founder of an NGO called SheSays. Yogita Bhayana is an activist in Noida. Anila Singh, state spokesperson of the BJP in Delhi. Meera Dilip is an education activist, and Anubha Sahai is the president of the India-wide Parents Association, who will join us through the course of this conversation. This is a terrible, terrible story. Trisha Shetty, unfortunately, from where we're looking at it right now, it seems like this school is singling out a rape survivor.
It's absolutely horrifying. Firstly, this is a child who's been raped, and it's not like the system isn't tough enough on victims. It's not like victims don't go through enough shaming, ostracization, and lack of rehabilitation. Then you have an educational institute that denies admission and denies a young girl her right, her fundamental right to education. Why? Because she was subject to rape, because she was grossly, her body was abused. That is just not okay. An educational institute is supposed to protect and safeguard the interest of children, impart them with quality education. And even under the new act that we have, sexual harassment in higher educational institutes, it is which comes under the University Grant Commission. It is incumbent on higher educational institutions to make sure that their students, and mind you, this is a gender neutral act that we have, that the students, regardless of whether it's a boy or a girl, should he be suffering from any sort of sexual harassment, his rights are safeguarded in that educational institute. So for this establishment to treat this child so poorly, to re-victimize a rape survivor, mind you, a child, it is absolutely horrifying, and this establishment needs a system overhaul. The management should be held accountable as to how can you deny a child, a victim of sexual abuse, her right to education.
Well, the DCW, the Delhi Commission for Women, has apparently taken up this case and sent a notice to the Education Department of the Delhi state government. Vikram Singh, shouldn't there be police action taken against this school, against this principal for this kind of behavior?
Faye, I would strongly recommend a police action against the school, who should pursue, follow up and expedite the de-licensing of the school, number one. Number two, criminal action and liability against the principal, as also against anyone who has singled out this child, the survivor, for this horrific outrage and the treatment meted out to her. We are supposed to be, as the UGC guidelines are very clear, that all students should be protected and should be protected from all sexual overtures, and if they are victims of sexual violence, they should be protected. And just concealing and just protecting their identity is a very small part. What remains is that they should be treated with dignity, with respect, with magnanimity, with compassion. But this is so horrific. I am seldom short of words to express my deep sense of shock and anguish at the treatment given to this minor and the survivor. Now, the police action can be of two counts. First, against the Police Act, and also the various regulations that the school has flouted. I would rather that you have your own reasons of not naming the school or the locality, but the police would be well within their powers to expose the principal and her team of advisors and her cabinet of the horrific act that they have done.
Well, you know, I want to ask Yogita Bhayana this question, and Yogita functions out of the NCR region. Yogita, for us, obviously, and for people watching at home, I'm sure this is a story of absolute shock and disgust. That instead of rehabilitating someone into society, making her life come back to normal as quickly as possible, here is a school making her life miserable, making sure that she can never rehabilitate back into society. But is it really that shocking to you, Yogita, in the NCR region? Or did you sort of expect that this is how schools function?
They do. Unfortunately, Faye, I was about to say that only. This is not the first time I've been dealing with teenage rape survivors, and this is nothing new to us. But after Nirbhaya case, the guidelines were set, a lot of promises were made. We were hoping we are going progressive, but this is really regressive and unfortunately coming back to again zero, you know, square one. We want to understand the psyche of these schools, where we are fighting about gender sensitization and giving HRD ministry a lot of, you know, suggestions, ideas how to bring gender sensitization through schools. If this happens in school itself, I think where do we stand? We are back to square one. I mean, there is no hope. I mean, there is a long way to go. If schools are doing this, they are setting up such examples. I mean, we can't expect people to change. Children, what will they learn from this incident? They will learn that a rape survivor has to be distinguished. I mean, if you are setting such example, they should be treated as criminal, as sir also said. I mean, we need to know the name of the schools, and we also need to know why they have done that. Let us understand their psyche and work on it. We need to know the name of the school. As an activist, I demand we need to really, they need to reveal the name of the school.
Well, Yogita, tell me this. You said that this is not new. This is how schools normally react. Give us other examples of previous instances where schools have done something like this, and how have they gotten away with it?
Unfortunately, yes, it has happened, but before Nirbhaya case also, after Nirbhaya case also, in couple of incidences I can share with you. Again, we took it up with the courts, and the trials are still on. I mean, they denied the, you know, continue of the study, but we also rehabilitated the child in some shelter homes and all, which was also needed. So that way we did not get into the confrontation, because here the child is again going back to school and denied, I mean, her rights were absolutely horrifying. But at the same time, this practice is not very old, like this has been followed, you know. So I just wanted to, I can share the other incidents also if you would like to know. I can share the cases with you. I can reveal the names also. Again, looking at the identity of the victim.
Yogita, you cannot reveal the names, like I told you, you cannot reveal the names of the schools, because when the victim is a minor, we're bound by law and by simple human consideration not to reveal the names of the victims, which is why we've not revealed the name of the school in this case. But I want to understand from you, if there are parents watching right now, I want to understand what these parents can do if they're facing something, if they're facing this sort of treatment from a school. How do they take it up? How do they go up against the school? And I'll go over to Tara Krishnaswamy. Tara, this is unfortunately not a Delhi problem. It's a problem across the country. Is it a problem that you're also facing in Bangalore?
Absolutely. It's a psyche and a mindset issue. And the collective conscience of this society must be shamed, because we don't attach the same stigma to the perpetrator of rape that we attach to the victim. If the perpetrator were to be taken to task, were to be stigmatized this way, were to be told you're not welcome in your workplace, you're not welcome at school, if you mete out violence against women, then automatically things will start to course correct. So who is responsible for the social mindset, and how do we address this? I mean, as society, when rape happens, when we hear about it, the first question we ask is who? When did it happen? Where did it happen? How did it happen? We want to know. If you look at the media headlines, it says 26-year-old woman raped in Banaswadi, 24-year-old air hostess raped in the Gurgaon, right? This is the kind of headlines you see. But the minute the rape happens, when the news goes to media, you already know that the man may have been about 30 years old, that he may have been wearing a checked shirt, he may have been short or stocky, but that's not what the headline that reads, right? If the headlines were to read, take a minute and think about it. If every morning the headline read 34-year-old male about 5'10", wearing a checked shirt in Gurgaon, went about meeting violence against women. If that is the kind of headline, people start putting the focus on the perpetrator and addressing that as a problem. The minute the headline reads, you know, victim was such and such age, this is what happened, then the focus shifts to the victim and what we can do about the victim. How is she dressed? Why is she out? Right? So we need to fundamentally change the way we look at rape in this country.
Well, so here's the thing. In fact, there are two problems here. One is, of course, the lack of the law in order to actually keep these sort of rapes from happening anywhere, especially in our national capital. The second is the fact that we have no policy in this country that dictates how a survivor should be reintegrated into society, how people should treat this person, how a school should treat this person when the person comes back into society. I want to play out for our entire panel right now and for our viewers at home the responses of the Delhi Commission for Women who have sent the notice, and then I'll go over to Anila Singh, who represents the BJP and the central government, on why this even was allowed to happen. Let's listen to Swati Mariwal first.
Shameful incident of a school not allowing a rape victim who's a minor to study. We are here with Delhi Commission of Women Chief Swati Mariwal. Ma'am, tell us more about this.
It's a very, very shocking incident. We were approached by a rape victim, a gang rape victim, who informed us that the school that she was studying in, they have asked her not to attend classes. They've asked her to stay in her house, and only if she does not attend classes will she be promoted, because the school fears defamation. It's very shameful. It is very sad, and actually it is a fact that in India the situation is such that first some men rape a girl and then the system rapes her. This is completely reflective of that mindset. Why is she being punished? What is her fault? She was gang raped. She was picked up, abducted from a place, taken by 4 men, raped in a car and dumped on the street. Instead of sympathizing with her, instead of being there for her, instead of supporting her, and instead of encouraging her, giving her strength, the school is doing just the opposite and is actually attacking her and victimizing her for something which is not her fault. DCW has taken cognizance. We've issued a notice to the Department of Education, and we want strictest action to be taken against this private school.
What we also understand is the school's principal is isolating the victim from her friends, and is also not letting her take the drop and pick up facilities by the school bus, stating that it will malign the school's name.
I think it is something which is so shameful and happening in the national capital territory of Delhi. It is something which is beyond, it cannot be in any ways condoned. It is a very, 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 very serious matter, and the Delhi Commission of Women wants exemplary action against this school and all the concerned officers there, because you cannot treat a gang rape victim in this manner. It is on the onus of the school to ensure that she feels absolutely normal and returns back to her life in no time. What is her fault that she has got raped? And by doing what they have done, they have caused far more defamation and far more ill intent, and they've displayed ill intent by doing what they have done. Not by that girl studying in that school. That girl studying in that school would not have caused any defamation. Doing what they have done has caused a lot of defamation to the school.
clearly the school authorities are washing their hands of it and not understanding the fact that to include her would be better for her and for the society to do away with this kind of rape culture shame. In New Delhi, this is Milan Sharma for Meera Now.
Well, here's the question we are asking. What sort of action should be taken against that school, against the principal, against all of the advisors that the principal had? And also, in this case, I would demand the people who stood by and let it happen. What were the school teachers doing? What were the educators doing? People who are supposed to protect children, how did they stand by and allow this school principal to act in this manner? The principal told the child she was not allowed to take the school bus, told other students not to sit next to her, told her if she comes to school, she will give the school a bad name. How can you shame a minor in this manner? This school should be treated in the harshest manner legally. I want to bring in Anila Singh here. Anila Singh, unfortunately, nothing has changed in Delhi. Nothing has changed. The numbers when it comes to crime against women are appalling. What is the government doing, Anila Singh?
First of all, I totally condemn the behavior of the management and the principal of the school, the way they have behaved with the child, with the minor. The sad incident through which the girl has gone through, and upon that the school behaving in this manner, I mean, this is terrible. This is terrible, horrible. In India, women suffer from terrible oppression, discrimination. So I would say it is the society, like they should stand with her. And now the school, when they say that you should not come to school and you will bring the bad name, I mean, we are living in 21st century and still rape is the taboo subject in our society. And I totally agree with you when it comes crime against women. Not only Delhi, I think so everywhere it is on the rise.
I'm very glad you agree with me. I'm very glad you agree with me, Anila Singh. But the truth is that if we're going to look at these numbers, if you're going to look at these appalling numbers of crime against women and minors,
because numbers never lie.
According to the NCRB, which is the National Crime Records Bureau, Delhi in 2015, there were 9,489 cases of crime against children. 6,881 cases of kidnapping and abduction of children. If this is the kind of city that we have as our national capital, Anila Singh, then the government should be working on how schools should now rehabilitate rape survivors, because there will be at this rate, there will be rape survivors in all of our schools, because the government, first of all, cannot keep our children safe. Law and order has completely fallen apart in Delhi, and then you're doing absolutely nothing to rehabilitate these girls. Where is the Nirbhaya Fund? Where are the Nirbhaya crisis centers? Why is there still this much crime happening in Delhi? Where is the sense of accountability? I'm very glad you agree with me, but I want to know, as a representative of the government that you're here right now, what are you doing?
We cannot blame government alone here. There are various reasons behind the rise of crime amongst the minors.
Please tell me what these reasons are that are not the responsibility of the government.
For women.
So, please tell me what these reasons are.
Like perpetrators, responsibility of government, definitely it is there. I am not shying away from this fact, but at the same time, even the special court should be there so that the perpetrators should be punished at the earliest, which is not happening.
Whose responsibility is the special court?
And more of a I am saying it is like, I can talk to you about my government, but with that I am saying that the responsibility of the judicial system here in India should also be there. Then the society, above all the society, they should not behave in a very discriminatory manner with the rape victim. Whether yes, please.
Anila ji, with your permission, may I ask a couple of questions?
Yes, I know everybody on the panel has questions. Vikram Singh, you go first. Vikram Singh.
Please, Anila ji, with the greatest of respect to you, may I submit that the government can never wash off its hands of the case, the fast-track courts, the compensatory amounts, the Women Council, the in-camera proceedings, all of it. In fact, the questioning to interrogation to female investigators, all of these parameters are within the ambit of the government. And the earlier we do it, the better. You very rightly mentioned that apart from the government, there are other factors. Absolutely faithful implementation of the rule of law, not only in Delhi, but in all the NCR, in the whole of the country. Strict censoring and other things that you are hinting at, and I would say that perhaps the total ecosystem needs to be checked, audited and set right. But that is a long-term perspective. It may or may not happen. But what the government can do and should do immediately, the short-term measure, is to have a ruthless drive against the criminal elements. Ensure that they are punished and they do not leave the jails in their lifetime. This is one thing that we can do, that the onus of proof should be on the criminals and not on the child, on the survivors. In the present case too, what we can do immediately is in the next 48 hours to de-license the school, relieve the principal of a charge and those found guilty. And the third, who were willing spectators or silent spectators or those who connived with the principal in singling out this child, they need to be taken under 151 CRPC and put behind bars.
Absolutely. And you know, Anila Singh, Vikram Singh said he would ask you a question, but he actually offered you a solution. I have a question to ask you. You said that there should be fast-track courts. That was a promise made by the government of this country, that there will be fast-track courts. You said that there should be a change in society. Whose responsibility is it to manage education, to actually change society? Do not turn around for a second and tell me that the law and order situation is not the responsibility of the Home Ministry, because the Delhi police responds to the Home Ministry. It is purely and solely the responsibility of the Home Minister of India that a 14-year-old girl is being snatched up from the street, gang raped by 4 men and being tossed out onto the road, and we live in a world where a school will not allow her back in again. And you are telling me that society needs to change? For as long as the Home Ministry is not taking its responsibility seriously, schools are going to think they can get away with this sort of behavior. How are you going to change society if you can't get the Delhi police to do their jobs, Anila Singh? I want to know once and for all, what is the central government doing in Delhi? Why is Delhi such a mess? Why is half of the population of Delhi, which is its women, unsafe? What face will this government show the women of this country if this sort of behavior continues?
I totally agree with you when you talk about law and order situation. I am not going to shy away from the fact that yes, there is there is no stoppage in crime against women. I'm not shying away from this fact. But as you just now you are mentioning that I said that society should also change. So I said society should also change in a way that they should not make rape as a taboo subject. It should be acceptable in the society. They should not treat a rape victim as if like somebody out of the space. They, if somebody has been raped, she still is the part of the society. I mean, I mentioned from that point of view. I didn't say that society has to change and the government doesn't have any responsibility to check the law and order situation. And secondly, like this particular school, if we talk about, definitely, as I said earlier, the strictest action will be taken against them, and the principal and the management, they have to be checked out, and rather I'll be most probably the principal will be out from the system the way she has behaved.
We need the promise right now.
So I am not saying that. Sorry.
Ma'am, please promise us on the show that you will take action within 24 hours. Then only your credibility will be proved that you are representing such a government which takes action immediately, ma'am. We want action. We want the name of the school. We want strict action ASAP on them.
Management should be put behind bars. The management...
Ma'am, would you promise us?
Right. Anubha Sahai, President of the India White Presidents Association. Anubha Sahai, President of the India White Association. The demand is completely fair, and I'm going to give Anila Singh a moment to think about it. But what is your demand, Anubha Sahai?
I want the management to be put behind bars within 24 hours because this is a fundamental right, and nobody can take away the fundamental right arbitrarily of any child. The protection of child has been given in our constitution, and there is a law also, which is the Child Protection Act and Juvenile Justice Act. As per section 75 of Juvenile Justice Protection Act,
and it's not only one fundamental right, it's
Madam, as you need to take action. There is the management should be put behind bars. The parent association also demand that the strict action should be taken against this school. Since the government, the central government as well as the state government is not taking action against these schools, that's why these crimes are happening, and these schools are free to, whenever there any crime.
Anubha, are you surprised that a school behaved in this manner, given your experience working with schools so far?
I am very much surprised to hear this incident and the behavior of the school, the way they are treating the child. It is a very shameful act which has been which is there, and the basic question which arises here, that what action the government is taking now.
Meera Dilip,
what action the government is going to take? And tomorrow
I want to just say how inhuman the principal can be. Isn't she a lady? My question to the principal is, how inhuman can be? Isn't she also a lady? And the school teachers, aren't they also ladies? How can you treat somebody like this instead of giving her the emotional touch and getting her out of the whole stress? Aren't we supposed as a society, isn't it our responsibility? If this is going to happen in the city, what about our villages?
It's a clear case of mental harassment and physical also by the school management. Not only the victim, the school management should also be punished and be put behind bars. We demand from parent associations, we demand the resignation of the HRD minister if he will not take action immediately on this issue. He immediately should intervene in this matter and file a FIR against the school. Why is he not doing?
Why is this only coming under the
Delhi Commission of Women can file an FIR against the school.
When the person in question here, the survivor, is a child?
Rather than regretting the whole issue, what happened, why it happened, Delhi DCW also should work on the protections. Rather than coming and talking about system, they should also do something on prevention and protection. Also now they should have taken suo moto by now.
They have. The Delhi Commission for Women has taken suo moto, a cognizance of the matter. They have filed a complaint and they have written to the Department of Education. But my question is, where is the Ministry for Women and Child Union?
Yes.
Where is the Ministry for HRD, for Education? Why is this just a problem for the Delhi Commission for Women? And Trisha Shetty, doesn't this violate the victim's right to education and the victim's right to equality? Can't the parents in this particular case approach the Supreme Court directly for a violation of fundamental rights?
Sadly, under Article 21A, which covers right to education, it defines it as right to education for child, which would limit it to 14 years.
Right.
I believe the victim is over the age of 14, which is why sadly that particular 21A article could not be implied. But having said that, this is still discrimination being meted out to the child. She definitely has a very strong case. And going back to what Miss Anila, I believe,
and if she is being, Trisha, if this survivor is being singled out in school, if her friends are being told not to sit next to her, if she's being told not to take the bus, she's being identified as a rape survivor. She's a minor. Isn't she protected by POCSO?
Of course.
Isn't this school currently in gross violation of the POCSO Act?
Any sort of, I mean, you know, even as media publications, there's strict instructions given that in terms of a child sexual abuse case, you cannot disclose the victim's name, you cannot disclose where she stays, any sort of details that could give away her identity. So in this case, with the Education Institute literally socially ostracizing her and putting these sort of social bans against her and telling other students to ostracize her, of course it's a gross violation of her privacy, of her rights. You
What's the punishment?
In Maharashtra, we have to, sadly, there's no social boycott act, which is only relevant to Maharashtra.
But what's the punishment for the violation of POCSO?
For violation of POCSO, it's the same as the person who's committed the crime. There are very strict guidelines, and this is a case of aggravated penetrative sexual assault. So it is the same as the person who's committed the crime. It's a gross violation.
So and even in this case,
we also have to remember she is also the witness of the case, and case is still under trial. So she needs to be protected all the more. And these minor details should be also taken care, rather than discriminating and making her more evident that she is the victim. They should also actually get her involved with the whole circle rather than identifying her differently, you know. So
what we've arrived at right now is that the school principal in this particular case has broken the law.
Yes,
absolutely. And right now should be facing legal criminal action, should be facing the strictest criminal action, because this school principal has gone back on their basic need of protecting and looking after children. Tara Krishnaswamy, you wanted to come in. I demand also that the school principal not just be sacked immediately,
he should
but
be put
face
behind
criminal action.
Yes. And then the management also. The management
exactly.
also.
So first of all, I think she should be summarily fired for ignorance. She seems to think, the school principal seems to think that being a rape victim, you're somehow carrying a communicable disease. So that's just sheer ignorance, and she should be sacked for that. Number two, law is the biggest deterrent to crime, and if the Home Ministry is not able to enforce law in Delhi, they should devolve it to the state. When they campaigned for the 2014 elections, they wanted Delhi to be given full statehood. If they are not able to, and we've seen this year after year after year with violence against women statistics in Delhi, they are not able to manage law enforcement, they should devolve it to Delhi. Now, that same law, that same rule applies to taking action against the school too. So the strictest action must be taken against the principal, not just for denial of, the child's right to education, but discrimination and mental cruelty and torture of the child. That child must be suffering so much trauma already, added to that this and ostracization. So the criminal case must be filed against for torturing the child and abetting, the trauma that the rape victim already suffers. The other thing to mention here, when you go back to, what is the magic to heal society of this, is Section 354.
Yeah, and I want to ask Anubha Sahai, as the president of the India-wide Parents Association, what is your message to Prakash Javadekar, the Honourable Minister of HRD of the Union of India?
My message to the Honourable HRD Minister, Mr. Prakash Javadekar, is that he should intervene in this matter immediately, and he should file FIR from his side. Instead of delegating the powers to other officers and all, he should come in the front and he should file FIR immediately. Why is he not filing FIR? He can also file FIR against the school. He can take, whenever any protest happens, I've been watching the episode in various TV. Whenever any protest happens in front of any school, the parents are booked under many penal provisions within 2 hours.
Yes.
Within 2 hours, the parents have been booked. Even yesterday, some parents have been booked in Ludhiana for protesting in front of the school. Yeah, because of school fees. And now this is a heinous crime. Why the management has not been booked and the principal has not been booked till now? Why it is taking so much time?
And you know what I still don't understand? Tara Krishnaswamy is right. Vikram Swamy is right. Vikram Singh, on one hand you have the DCW, which is the Delhi Commission for Women, that's taking cognizance. Where is the Women and Child Ministry?
Where is the Child Commission?
Where is the Child Commission? Where is the HRD Ministry? Where are the people who are actually responsible for this child victim? This is obviously a criminal offence. Why isn't anybody taking cognizance? Vikram Singh.
Faye, first of all, I will summarize what action is possibly legally against the school and the management.
She's actually said, bring it to my notice on Twitter and I will take action. We should bring it to her notice.
Madam, you can take suo motu cognizance of the offence. If any offence...
Right. Vikram Singh, go ahead.
Faye, let us look at the legal provisions first. It is the POCSO. The second, it is Section 151 of the CRPC. The third, it is the Juvenile Justice Act. And the fourth is the local police regulations. These are the 4 cases, and just an intervention by the local SHO and the local DCP would be sufficient to bring the fear of God into the management and the school teachers and the principal. But I dare say that the school happens to be, at least it looks like, as one of those high-profile schools where the high and mighty go and bend over the heels, and therefore rest assured that it's not going to be easy to touch them with a barge pole. Therefore, let it be the Twitter, let it be a suo motu complaint, let it be an FIR, and I would certainly request Anila Singh ji to please run the extra mile and see that the FIR is lodged and the school is taken to task and made to explain on the horrific behavior that they have indulged in. And I have very serious reservations that we do have a right to judicial review and judicial remedy, but they are long drawn-out, expensive proceedings. The criminal proceedings are my best bet.
But Narayanam is on the phone line from Chennai. Narayanam, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for this opportunity. There are 2 points I like to make.
Yes.
One is the school authorities has to be punished, because as a society, we have to give a support to the child as well as her family. But we are failed to do, number 1. Number 2, the law. The law enforcement has to be very strict. whoever doing such a crime, the law has to take immediate action and the perpetrators should be punished immediately. Then only those who
yes, there should be punishment immediately. I agree with you. Nirmala has also called in and said that the government should take a legal step against this. With so many debates going on, but the government takes no action. The government takes no action. Anila Singh, where is the promise of Achhe Din for one half of this country, which happens to be female?
No, our Prime Minister also says Beti Padhao, Beti Badhao. What is this? There is nothing of the Prime Minister's slogans over here.
You can't say that Achhe Din has not come in India. I think so that is very harsh to say like this. And I hope Mr. Manish Sisodia of Aam Aadmi Party, even he does take some strictest action in this regard, and other school managements as well. But definitely I am with you and with whole of the panel when it comes that security for women should be on the priority, and the crime against women should be on the regressive side rather than progressive side. And I'm assuring you that government is going to take very proper action against whole of the episode.
But you know, forgive me, but that was not a satisfactory answer for me, Anila Singh. When you say safety for women should be a priority or should be made a priority, who is going to make it a priority? Who are we going to make it a priority for? Let me remind you, in the last 4 or 5 manifestos released by the BJP, in the last 4 or 5 different pieces of paper released by the BJP, we've talked about empowerment, we've talked about education, we've talked about giving skills and jobs to women. Not once, not anywhere does the word rape get said. Not once, not anywhere does the mention of safety for women actually come up. It almost seems like the government itself doesn't want to acknowledge the fact that safety is an issue. And to make matters worse, the one great achievement of the Women and Child Ministry has to take away the Nirbhaya centers and turn them into Sakhi centers. That was the achievement. I don't understand what is so scary about the word Nirbhaya. If we are talking about rehabilitating girls who've been through this horrific crime, why did you change the name of the Nirbhaya center? Is the government also afraid of the word rape, Anila Singh?
No, absolutely not, and I think so you should not target government so harshly here. The government is trying to do its best to improve the condition of women in the country, definitely for sure, where the situation had been so bad and the condition has been so bad. Now, the government is trying its level best, but if we talk about this sad incident which has happened with this minor child in the school, I have said that whatever the central government has to do, the government is going to do it regarding this thing, and I really hope that Aam Aadmi Party minister, even he does
can you mention at least 2 steps which you have taken since the government is formed? Can you just mention 2 steps which your government has done after forming the government? 2 things you have done for women's safety.
Justice Verma Committee recommendations?
I can.
What are they?
I can not only do. I can mention 10 steps which the government has taken.
But we have to blame the government.
But I need to.
We ought to blame the government because nothing has been done on.
We are debating here on the mindset of the society.
No, we're not debating the mindset of the society. I'm really sorry, Anila Singh. If someone told you we were debating the mindset of society, we are discussing crime against women and how in this city and in this country, crime against women has gotten worse. How children who go to private schools are not safe. They're not safe on the roads. They're not safe in their schools. And in my opinion, what this school has done is just as bad as the perpetrators of the crime. Where is the government and what is the government doing? Is the Aam Aadmi Party to blame? Yes, it is to blame. The Aam Aadmi Party has to take the blame as well. But you cannot shirk away from the fact that the Delhi police and Delhi law and order is the Home Ministry's jurisdiction.
Has also to be blamed. The patriarchal mindset that has to be changed.
So can you do gender sensitization in school? I have personally given.
Hang on. Let's do this correctly. Yogita Bhayana, let's do this correctly because Anila Singh says don't target the government. I'm actually going to sit back right now and allow each member of the panel to ask the government a question directly. Yogita Bhayana, you go first.
Okay, now she is talking about the mindset. Can you tell me what is the government doing in schools to change the mindset? Oh, we agree there is a problem with the mindset. Have you done something? Has HRD ministry has done something? I have personally submitted a report on gender sensitization should be taught in schools. That is only how we will change the mindset of the people. So nothing has been done on that. The file was lying in the office of HRD ministers for last 2 years. What has been done on that? So mindset has to be changed. It will not change automatically.
It will not change by saying so repeatedly on television debates. It will change when you actually do something about it. Trisha Shetty. Trisha Shetty.
Women's Safety Helpline number doesn't work. Your sex offenders registry doesn't exist. There's no way to track repeat sexual offenders. Your Nirbhaya scheme, there's no implementation of it. Even children who are being raped, what is the rehabilitation process? Are you ensuring that victims of sexual abuse, the identity will not be revealed? And should anyone reveal the identity, strict action will be taken against them. About politicians, regardless of which party, who purport and make these horribly crude remarks, what about their mindset? Where is accountability on just these 4 points that comes under the purview of the government? And coming back to what Yogita said, comprehensive sex education, why is it not being run as part of the curriculum in schools, colleges?
Tara Krishnaswamy.
Yeah, I actually have a suggestion for Anila Singh. I know everyone is targeting her. My concrete suggestion is the following. You are running cigarette ads, in front, ahead of every film or in the middle of every film. That's good to create awareness that cigarettes cause cancer. Would you please take back to the INB and the WCD departments that if you ran ads for just a couple of minutes that says zero tolerance to sexual violence, and this is not about sex education, this is about violence against women, zero tolerance to sexual harassment, that usage of language, inappropriate touching, sexual abuse, harassment, rape, all of this is completely unacceptable and punishable by law, and it's a crime against humanity. If you could run this ad and indoctrinate the entire population, this is in your hands. This is not about one particular state government, this is not about Aam Aadmi Party, it's not about the Congress, it's not about regional governments. It is in your hands to run this in front of every movie. Put up hoardings, run it on radios. Instead of saying just Swachh Bharat, you can, instead of just platitudes like Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, put meat behind this. Run these ads, indoctrinate the entire country that violence against women is unacceptable, zero tolerance. Can you do that? Please take that suggestion back to the government.
That's an excellent suggestion. In fact, KR Day is on the phone line from Kolkata. Mr. Day, go ahead. We can hear you.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead, sir. We can hear you.
Yeah.
You had a point to make, Mr. Day. I'm running out of time. You'll have to hurry.
No, can I question to this?
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
Huh?
Go ahead, sir.
Are you listening to me, ma'am?
Yes, we will come back to you. We'll come back to Mr. KR Day. I also have a question now for the two members of the panel who are linked to the education department. Meera Dilip, how do we assure this girl, this survivor, of an education? I'm really disappointed in the manner in which both government, state and centre have allowed this to happen. But how do we rehabilitate this young person and give her the education that is her fundamental right?
Actually, one of the schools, I think she should not.
Maneka Gandhi has gone on record saying, bring it to my notice and I'll fix it. Please do tweet her.
But it doesn't happen.
It's really unfortunate that we have to bring things to her notice on Twitter, but this is her job.
Now we need to give the girl is a... can I speak?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hello? Yeah, what I want to suggest is we should first give her the mental security and the physical security. We have to calm down the girl and we should send her to a different school, because the same school environment can even spoil her, because already the things are going bad with the girl. So I would suggest that it's the duty of the government to ensure the safe and security and she gets the right education, and it should be the solely responsibility of the education department and the Ministry of Education.
If I may come in here,
it comes under the HRD.
You know, offering the girl to be sent to a different school is not the solution. No. reprimanding the school, punishing them for discriminating against the child, and making sure that never again will any other education institute have the audacity to discriminate against the child, must be the solution. The focus must be on reprimanding the school, holding them to higher standards, as opposed to saying this school environment is not good for you, let's put you to another school.
But you know, Anubha Sahai, I think what she's saying is that how will the child continue in the same school now that this has happened? But if we move her, if she's moved, then won't she feel that there's something wrong with her, that she has to be hidden?
Be inconvenienced further.
She should be, a special counselor should be appointed especially for her in the school, who should be... Of course. A special counselor should be appointed by the management and the school, so that the girl should not face any kind of... if the girl is facing any kind of problem, mental or any kind of illness, the counselor should be appointed who will take care of that child. It can happen, and the government can intervene, and they can also tell the school to appoint a special counselor.
Madam, I have a request to make.
And other children should also be taught how to deal in this situation, so that if the rape happens or such incident happens in the same school with some other child, they should be taught lesson that how to deal in this situation. First of all, we demand that the management should be put behind bar, the principal should be put behind bar, and the child should get her education, her fundamental right.
Vikram Singh?
Faye, I would also recommend that as it happens in America and other European countries, the principal, if so required, could also do with some psychiatric intervention, and as also her supporters in this whole gory episode.
Well, Anila Singh, I have not said anything in the last few minutes of this show. You've heard all of the rest of our panelists speak, all of whom seem equally disappointed in the lack of action from the government on various areas. One, education. Two, the rehabilitation of victims and survivors of sexual assault and rape. Three, the lack of actual, since you talked about changing society, any sort of concrete action on the ground in really changing society. When we talk about Beti Padhao, any sort of concrete action on the ground in making these Betis actually safer. And finally, in law and order, all of which are within the purview of the central government. Will you take these suggestions forward, Anila Singh?
Definitely, and one very good suggestion was made by one of the panelists to run ad about the safety of the women and not tolerating any sort of sexual violence. So that is very welcoming suggestion, and I'll try to put forward this thing in front of the right authorities. And secondly, like as my final statement, I can only say here for you that let us all come together and make this place, India, a better place for women. I mean, I'm a woman, I'm a mother of a daughter, so I very well understand the trauma of the girl or the mother. Like both of the person which go through if something happens like that. So let us come together instead of targeting each other. Definitely the government, the society, and all, whether it is educational institutions or the judiciary system, I can only say yes, as the government representative, government is doing its good, and in the future they are I really hope, and I'm very sure about it, that they are going to do much better for the women in India.
That was a very impressive response, Anila Singh, but it was you didn't give us any concrete commitments. You said the government is doing their best, and I'm sure they'll do better, even further, for the betterment of women. Can you please give us concrete action points that the government has taken for women and children and safety against rape? Let's say the word, safety against rape for women across the country.
If action talks more than words, so in the coming future you yourself is going to see that the government has taken very right steps to control the crime against women.
नहीं, ये राइट स्टेप्स कौन से आप बता दीजिए अनिला सिंह. आप हमें समझाइए कि ये आप जो कह रहे हैं कॉन्क्रीट स्टेप्स लेंगे और आगे जाके हमें पता चलेगा. आपकी गवर्नमेंट को तो 3 साल ऑलरेडी हो चुके हैं. आप बताइए 3 साल में आप लोगों ने क्या किया है अब तक? ये कौन से कॉन्क्रीट स्टेप्स लिया आपने?
कितनी बेटियों को बचाया है और कितनी बेटियों को पढ़ाया है? Many children are still under Right to Education Act in Maharashtra, in Delhi, or in any other state across India. It is the duty of the central government to implement Right to Education Act, which has not yet been implemented.
यहाँ पे अनिला सिंह तीन बातें हैं यहाँ पे। एक तो सेफ्टी फॉर वुमेन, आपने सेफ्टी फॉर वुमेन के लिए क्या किया है, राइट टू एजुकेशन के लिए क्या किया है, और ये जो आप बार बार कह रहे हैं सोसाइटी की माइंडसेट को चेंज करना चाहिए, तो आपने सोसाइटी के माइंडसेट चेंज करने के लिए आपने क्या किया अब तक, आप बता दीजिए।
Very clear words that government is doing its duty, but at the same time the different part of the society, whether in the form of educational institutions or other form, like everybody should come together. It is not only the sole responsibility of the government.
It is the sole responsibility of the government. It is the sole singular responsibility of the government. Let me say this again. It is the responsibility of the government. It is the responsibility of the government. It is nobody else's responsibility. It is the responsibility of the government. I do not understand what you're saying to me. I cannot understand what you mean by schools should come together, by law and order should come. Who is law and order? Who is law and order? The government is law and order. Who regulates schools in this country? The government regulates schools in this country. Who regulates the police? The government regulates the police. Who will set up the special courts? The government will set up the special courts. Anila Singh, stop passing the buck.
Behavior they do with the women.
Stop passing the buck.
Madam, make a small promise, just a small promise. Just take action against the school.
In very polite words, I have said that government is doing whether.
We want justice for the child. We want justice for
just take action against the school. This is a very short term and a small promise we are asking. Just take action against the school.
It should not.
What action are you going to take, and what is the time frame?
Madam, within 12 hours,
just give us this much promise. We don't need long promises, big promises.
Take action within 12 hours.
But what action are you going to take?
You are targeting the government alone. I really wish that the educational institution should come forward and they should ostracize this school, particular school.
Well, I've unfortunately run out of time on this show, and now when I started I was upset with the school. I am now upset with the government that has let us down one more time. Whether it is a city government or a state government or a central government, none of it matters. I frankly, quite honestly, viewers tonight don't even care which political party we're talking about, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what political party we're talking about. Y'all are all equally, completely incapable of looking after the people of this country. All you care about is protecting whatever vote is coming your way and making sure that you don't seem like you're responsible in any way. I have news for you. To the governments of Delhi, whether it is in the MCD or the state government or the central government that runs the city of Delhi, you all are all colossal failures for allowing something like this to have happened in your city, where a child was raped and then a school turned around and ostracized that child. All of that is your fault. The rape is your fault. The school's behavior is your fault. The lack of action is your fault. And unless has been pointed out by the members of this panel, unless you take action in the next 12 hours, we're going to come after you for not doing your jobs. It just boils down to that. You have a job to do. You've been voted into power. Simply, without arguing about it, do your job, because on behalf of the parents of this country, we're watching.